Anger is not an external phenomenon. It doesn't come from your boss, your partner, or the traffic. Anger is a choice you make within your own mind. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said that anger is a temporary madness. Think about it. The moment you lose your temper, you lose the capacity to judge, to analyze, and to act correctly. You become a slave to a chemical impulse flooding your brain. In this video, we won't talk about swallowing your anger, because suppression is just a ticking time bomb. We will talk about how to master it, how to transform it from destructive energy into the most powerful tool for focus you've ever had. If you want to learn how to remain unshakable while the world around you burns, listen carefully. The next few minutes will change your relationship with your own temperament. Most people confuse stoicism with apathy. They think being stoic means feeling nothing, being a lifeless stone statue. That is a fundamental error. Stoicism is not about eliminating emotions, but about managing them consciously. Anger is raw energy. It is a signal. When you get angry, your body enters a fight or flight state. Your heart rate increases, adrenaline pumps, muscles tense up. This is a massive biological resource. The problem isn't the energy, the problem is the direction. When you are angry, you channel this energy to destroy or to self-destruct. The Stoic chooses to channel that energy to solve the problem. You must understand one thing. Behind every state of anger is an unrealistic expectation. You get angry because you believed things should be different than they are. You get angry because you believed you have control over others' behavior. That is where the error begins. The Stoic accepts reality as it is, without judging it in the first second. This is where we make the distinction between a man who reacts instinctively and a man who chooses his response. Let's move to the practical side. The Stoic intervention protocol has 3 essential steps that must become second nature to you. Step 1. The 5-second pause. When you feel your blood boiling, stop, literally. Say nothing. Don't type a message. In those 5 seconds, remind yourself that this emotion is just an impression, not a fact. The emotion tells you to attack, but logic tells you to stay and observe. Step 2. Analyze the cause. Ask yourself, is this totally under my control? If the answer is no, then your anger is useless. If someone insulted you, their action is outside your control. The only thing under your control is your interpretation. Step 3. Conscious action. After analyzing, ask yourself, what would the best man do in this situation? Not the weakest, not the most aggressive, but the man you want to become. Your answer must be solution-oriented. If the problem can be solved, solve it. If it cannot be solved, accept it and move on. This is the distinction that separates leaders from those who are driven by their own emotions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, had every reason to be angry every single day. He had generals who betrayed him, people who rebelled, and an illness that wore down his body. In one of the most famous passages of Meditations, he writes to himself every morning, "Today I will meet ungrateful, violent, treacherous, and selfish people." Why did he do this? Not out of pessimism, but to prepare himself. He knew that anger arises from surprise. When you expect people to be perfect, you will always be disappointed. When you accept that people are imperfect, you become immune to disappointment. He didn't hate those who did wrong. He viewed them as people who don't understand good from evil. This perspective gave him an unparalleled inner peace. We can apply this today. If someone attacks you online or at work, view them as people who have no control over their own minds. Why would you be angry at someone who has lost control? Instead, you should feel sorry for them. We live in a world built to stir up our anger. Social media algorithms, the news, notifications, they are all designed to capture your attention through fear and anger. When you go online, you enter an arena where everyone wants to drive you out of your mind. Being stoic today means being a guardian of your own attention. When someone posts something that irritates you, stop. Analyze. Why does this affect me? Often it's just your ego wanting to prove something, but proving something in front of strangers is a waste of vital energy. Ignore the noise. Focus on your work, your life, your goals. Anger is a luxury you cannot afford if you want to reach high performance. One of the most powerful tools in the Stoic arsenal is a visualization exercise known as the view from above. Whenever you feel that familiar heat rising in your chest, I want you to mentally pull back, zoom out. Imagine yourself right where you are in your room or your office. Now zoom out further. See your building, your street, your city. Keep zooming out until you see the entire planet, suspended in the vastness of space. From that perspective, does the person who insulted you matter? Does that rude email or that traffic jam hold the same weight? When you see the scale of your existence against the backdrop of the universe, your anger loses its fuel. It is impossible to stay furious when you realize how small and temporary our problems truly are. This isn't about being indifferent. It's about regaining your sense of proportion. Another trap that fuels our anger is the illusion of the future. We often carry a burden of should-haves, you think. They should have listened to me, or things should have gone differently. But should is a phantom. It is a demand you are placing on reality, and reality has no obligation to conform to your desires. The Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It sounds dark, but it is a masterclass in emotional stability. Every morning, take a moment to anticipate the challenges of the day. Acknowledge that you might face difficult people, unexpected delays, or even failure. By expecting these things, you strip them of their power to surprise you. Anger feeds on the shock of the unexpected. If you expect a stormy sea, you don't curse the wind when the waves begin to rise. You prepare your ship. Furthermore, we must address the most common catalyst for anger: your reputation. Ask yourself honestly, why do you get angry when someone speaks ill of you? It is usually because you have surrendered your self-worth to the opinions of others. You have allowed their words to become the thermometer for your own value. A Stoic understands that a man's character is a fortress. If you are secure in who you are, if you are disciplined and honest, then someone else's opinion is nothing more than air moving through a mouth. They cannot touch your honor. You can only lose your honor by reacting like a fool. The moment you decide that your internal integrity is more important than external validation, your anger over insults will vanish. You stop being a puppet whose strings are pulled by other people's tongues. There is also a profound difference between being a doormat and being a Stoic. Many people fear that if they stop getting angry, they will become weak or allow others to walk all over them. This is a mistake. True Stoic power is found in assertive clarity. When you finally do speak, do so with precision and cold, hard logic, not emotional heat. If you are being mistreated, call it out, not with shouting, not with insults, but with a calm, unwavering focus on the facts. People are often terrified of the person who can calmly look them in the eye and state his boundaries without raising his voice. Your silence during the heat of the moment isn't submission, it is tactical. It is you gathering your wits so that when you do speak, your words carry the weight of a judge passing sentence, rather than a child throwing a tantrum. Use your calm as a weapon of precision. To keep this transformation consistent, you need daily anchors. Stoicism is not just a philosophy to think about, it is a way of life to be lived. Implement an evening review. At the end of each day, sit down for 3 minutes and ask yourself 3 questions. Where did I lose my temper today? Why did it happen? And what would I have done differently if I were a master of myself? This is not about guilt. Guilt is another form of ego. This is about data collection. You are an engineer of your own mind. By reviewing your reactions, you start to see patterns. You notice that you always get angry when you're hungry, or tired, or when you feel disrespected in a specific context. Once you map these triggers, they are no longer blind spots. They are obstacles you can see clearly and step around with ease. Finally, realize that your anger is often a mask for fear. We rarely get angry because we are strong. We get angry because we are afraid. Afraid of losing control, afraid of looking weak, afraid of being wrong. When you peel back the layers of your rage, you will almost always find a vulnerable human heart underneath. Acknowledge that vulnerability. It is not weak to feel pain, or hurt, or fear. What is weak is the refusal to own those feelings, leading you to explode at the world instead. If you are hurt, admit it to yourself, and perhaps to those around you, but do it with a steady voice. Clarity is the antidote to chaos. When you stop hiding behind the mask of anger and face your true feelings, you reclaim your dignity. You stop being a reactive creature of impulse and become a commander of your own soul. Anger is raw energy. Do not eliminate it. Direct it. Use it to work more on your projects, to train harder, to become a more disciplined version of yourself. Don't let this video be just another piece of content you consume. If you truly want to change something, apply today's protocol. The next time you feel that burn in your chest, don't react. Stay, observe, choose. This is the path to self-mastery. If you are ready to build this character, subscribe to this channel. We are beginning the training.